So last week we started talking about volume, and we were looking at using the layers of a cake as our representation. Today we are going to continue talking about volume, and we're going to do volume tomorrow as well. Today we are going to actually use our volume formulas. Okay, so we've talked about this quite a bit, and we've kind of used it a little bit, but today we're going all out, like we're using just the formulas. So remember that we look at volume equals length times width times height, and because that is 1, 2, 3 dimensions, we use the little 3 as if it was cubic centimeters. Okay, I know that in a cube, all sides are the same, so it doesn't matter which of the 3 sides that I choose. It doesn't matter because they're all the same, so we don't really have to worry about length times width times height, just pick 3. Okay, now remember this one, volume equals big B times height, where that big B is different than the little b in area. Okay, the big B in height means if I have a shape like this, don't laugh at my drawing, it's not perfect, I know. But if I have a shape like this, and they give me the base of the shape like this, okay, this is what we were doing on Friday, remember? So let's say this is 17 centimeters, okay, the area of this red piece, that layer, is 17 centimeters. That's the big B, okay, that's the base of the shape. Okay, so the little b up here in area is when we're talking about 2-dimensional shapes. The big B, the capital B, is when we're talking about 3-dimensional shapes. Okay, but we're really not going to go in that direction today. We really are going to do our volume formula today. All right, so I'm going to show you a couple of problems. Let's talk about this one first. Okay, I always like to double check and look at what the unit of measure is. So they're telling me these are units. Okay, so it's not centimeters or miles or meters or anything like that. It's units. So when I get my answer, it needs to be in cubic units, right? Okay, so whatever my answer is, my label is cubic units. All right, so we just want to use our formula, volume equals length times width times height, and we just plug in our numbers. Okay, so I see that the length of this shape is right here. That's the length, so that's 6. I see that the width of the shape is over here, and that's 4. And then I see that the height right here is 3. Now, it is totally okay if you want to multiply these in a different way. What I mean by that is, remember we have what's called the associative property of multiplication, okay? What that means is I can do 6 times 4 first, and then multiply times 3, okay? I could do 4 times 3 and then multiply times 6. Okay, remember when we talked about order of operations, the parentheses goes first, right? I could even do 3 times 6 first and then multiply times 4. Okay, so it does not matter which order I multiply these factors in because that's the associative property. Okay, I always like to do the ones that I can mentally in my head so I can have a little bit less work. So I know that 4 times 3 is 12. And I do know 12 times 6 in my head. 12 times 6 would be 72. So my answer here is 72 cubic units. Okay? If I didn't do it mentally, I could say to myself 6 times 4 is 24. And I still need to multiply times 3. And then I'd have to maybe write that one out. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So see, it's going to give you the same answer no matter what order that you multiply them in. All right, moving on to our next problem. Let's do this one. Again, I'm using volume equals length times width times height. Okay, I'm just plugging in what I know. My length is down here, that's 9. My width right here is 2. And my height right here is 4. Okay, and again, I can do that in any order. So I'm going to do it this way. I know 4 times 2 is 8. And I know 9 times 8 is 72. Oh, we got the same answer. Isn't that interesting? I guarantee you that's not going to happen every time. We just got lucky. Okay, so then I always go back and I look. Okay, this time they're talking about inches. Okay, and then remember, since it's 1, 2, 3 dimensions, I put my cube for 72 cubic inches. All right, last one together. So again, volume equals length times width times height. I don't know my volume yet. My length is right here. So that's 5. My width is here. So that's 4. And then my height is here. So that's 8. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to do 5 times 4 is 20. Okay. I know that if I do 2 times 8, that gives me 16. And then I can take this 0 and put it here at the end. Okay, so 20 times 8 is 160. And again, I look for my unit of measure, which is yards. And since it's 1, 2, 3 dimensions that I'm multiplying, I have cubic yards. So volume equals 160 cubic yards.